out.
So I am with Callum. Few people should join. I'm not sure how many. The channel doesn't necessarily is super hot as of now. Can you hear me well? I hope if someone can come, they can say if the our audio is okay, because sometimes one person is louder, the other a little bit less. So if people can let us know if it's all good, then would be nice.
Yeah.
So I'm with Callum, and Callum is working on a few things within Juno ecosystem, and mainly this is DAO, and now is the app called HOWL. Is it correct? HOWL?
Howl, yeah.
HOWL.
Like the sound of
Um,
wolf, what wolf does, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So can you howl? Howl? Howl?
No, actually, it's a bit early for that. If this was an alcoholic drink, maybe if it was a bit later. I haven't
I had
practiced.
concern. I had concern with how it's.
Hmm.
Do you think it's good name?
Yeah, so we think it is purely because the whole culture wolves, people love it. We've got we made the joke that it's not wolf contracts burner account. But yeah, no, I can't remember how we thought of it. I think we just went with wolves. Like a lot of people in the Twitter community, that sort of thing, they like that sort of thing, don't they? Like the wolf and howl, and the way you make a post is we call it a howl, and you howl at the moon, like the werewolf vibes. But yeah, that's how we sort of settled on it in the end, and we sort of just ran with it. It's a bit too late to change now. Got the branding, got the nice Twitter handle. It's a bit late to pivot.
Yeah, because I was like thinking, well, the name is nice, but you see, I'm foreign. I struggle. So I would expect that the foreign communities they will struggle, because when you have like Twitter, it's easy for everyone.
Yeah.
But with Howl, it's like not that natural, not that easy. So I think it's the
Yeah, it's the
minor
W and L.
concern.
It's the W and L. Like it's quite hard
Yeah,
to
that's probably
pronounce.
the issue.
Yeah.
So, but as you said, it's probably too late. But anyway, so Callum, I wonder if you can introduce yourself, actually who you are, because outside of the things here, you work on DAO and Howl, but what's your background, if you don't mind
Yeah.
sharing that?
So yeah, I'm actually like 21. I'm pretty young. I sort of got into the Juno space sort of the start of this year, like quite a quick turnaround. I'm currently studying my degree, literally finishing that up in a few days, and just decided to get in I just decided to learn smart contracts and Cosmwasm, and then I sort of interacted with Wolf and Jack on Twitter, and I was like, oh, what can I do? They're like, just learn this, and someone will eventually hire you, or you'll get involved. And then reached out to Jake Meow and was like, hey, I've just been learning this. If there's anything I can do to help out, just get me. I'm your guy. Just get me involved. And then he set me up with DAO, and then I started contributing to that just before like sort of mainnet launch for the original DAO. Now I'd say sort of one of the main smart contract contributors. Maybe I'm being a bit but I sort of did a lot of the contract work there, and then got speaking with the Fray in the Juno Discord, and we just sort of ended up linking up, and that's sort of how the HOWL team was born. Like we just sort of
Yeah.
all sort of said we were all down to build it in Discord, and then one day a channel got made, and then we started plugging away, and now it's an actual thing. 4,000 Twitter followers on the account. People seem to dig the idea, so here we are.
Where are you from in UK?
I'm from the middle of nowhere, so sort of like east, like sort of the east where I don't want to give specifics, but sort of like a couple hours out of London, I'd say, but
Right.
literally nowhere special.
Right. So you're not near Frey. I think Frey is from the
He's
Liverpool, right?
yeah, he's from up that way, yeah.
Yeah. So how many people work on Howl as of now?
So we have three sort of core founders, which is me, Frey, and then another guy who is not really active on Twitter, but you might have seen him if you're in the Juno Discord, AS Weaver. I still don't know how to pronounce it because I feel bad if I pronounce it AS Weaver.
Yeah, and
But,
I don't know anything about the guy or the girl. Yeah.
Guy, but yeah, so they're sort of another sort of smart contract dev, front end dev as well, that sort of picked up early, sort of has done some other work. So they built some quite cool dev tools for the space, and so picked up, and that's how we sort of got the original sort of founding trio, you could say. And we have a couple other contributors that have chipped in along the way. Sort of Zeke from DAO as well. He helped out early on with the name service. Same with sort of else how Nick, and then of course Max, who helped us get our Discord set up, because that sort of stuff is magic to me, and Max is a pro.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually like chatting to you, because I opened the Discord today, and I see more and more people engage in the HOWL. At the start it was basically just the Frey as the name service, and I'm opening there is Patmos and like many others like getting more and more engaged. So it does seem to me that it's becoming like kind of, I would say, tier 1 Juno smart contract. That it will be like really.
That's what we're planning for. What I've been saying is we want to be a sort of a blue chip CW20. Like,
Yeah.
we're not a native token. We understand there are sort of perks of not being a native token, but there's also cons in we're not an L1. You need to have Juno to interact with us. But we want to, much like Raw, you could say, we want to be one of the CW20s, which is like front and center of Juno Swap, and be like, hey, we've got some really cool ideas. Come, we're going to airdrop you somehow to get to just interact. If you like the service, come stay. You could benefit from us as well.
So let's start with the airdrop, right? Because I remember at the beginning when the name service launched, there meant to be no token. Like there was no plans. It was officially said that there was no plans, right?
So
why change? Why decided to airdrop that? And there will be 2 tokens. Is it correct?
No, only the one. So
so change again.
Right. So let's just go through the timeline, right? A lot of the name service was built before I even started developing, but I sort of know the timeline because I was still involved in the ecosystem, just not developing. So name service launched. Names were two Juno. Juno was around like somewhere in the range of like $7 to $10 back then. I think there was a tweet saying, "Oh, there's no token," sort of that sort of thing, but nothing really officially said. Fast forward quite a bit because there was a bit of a gap. Juno pumped. Juno's now $40. Good times, right? And then name service changes the price to 1 Juno because Juno's now $40, so a name is now $80. When back then it was like 20. So that changes, and then that caused a bit of controversy because a lot of people felt hard done by. But yeah, because if you just bought a name just before the price went down, you paid quite a lot. But yeah, so, and then that changed, and then there was an announcement the Frey made saying that they're doing a name drop, which is they were just doing an airdrop of a token. This was around the time that sort of the idea of HOWL was born, and we had just started sort of linking up to get it working. And we wanted to basically we want to integrate DENS and the name service into these products, which is why HOWL is built directly on it. And pretty much the same team, right? I've done some work on the name service, just a few cleanup bits, nothing major. Most of the credit goes to the Frey for that. And then we built onto it, and the HOWL airdrop became the name drop, and there was a bit of confusion about that because we had 2 separate accounts. One went live later with the announcement, but I'm just going to go on the record now, say they are the same. The name drop is part of the HOWL airdrop, and Juno stakers are also part of the HOWL airdrop.
Okay, so there is only HOWL will be airdropped, and it will be airdropped to the name holders. And to the stakers of Juno as well. So not only
on the snapshot.
So not only people who hold the names.
There's two separate criteria, and you can do both. You can do one, or you can do the other. Although if you own a name, you're probably staking Juno as well, right?
Yeah, I know it must be like really annoying because people keep asking. Any idea how the snapshot was designed?
We have had some conversations behind the scenes, but I can't say anything because we're not actually finalized that stuff yet either. So
Yeah,
I can't say anything in conscience, and it might change, and then people might come and yell at me. But
yeah.
we
So it's.
conversations are starting to be had on the distribution, but we're sort of crunching numbers at the minute.
Mhm. So will the name will be simply just for the HOWL, right? Will be just like your name in the social media that HOWL try to be microblogging platform, or it will try to be the name for the wider IBC ecosystem, like the name of the wallets and stuff as well, because you merge this into the HOWL, so it looks like it will be only name for the HOWL and not for
So the
for
nature
other.
the nature of it is names, or the name service is how a name works under the hood is it is effectively an NFT. It's a modified CW721, which is the NFT spec which all the NFTs use pretty much in the Cosmos
Mm-hmm.
space. And so that means that anyone can integrate with who am I, like as in the name service. That there is support for that sort of from a Web2 standpoint API, and also you can see how we're literally using the name service to build out your profile. So on the name service you have the
Yeah.
metadata that you can update.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff will all be associated and build up your profile, if that makes sense. Like you can update your bio on that, and that'll update your bio on your HOW profile with that name.
Mm-hmm. I must tell you, because as the non-technical person, it's quite difficult for me now. Like for me, I owe the name, but I have no idea what to do with it, right? So do you think over time it will be more like random user friendly, like even for me, that I will be able to play with this name
Yeah,
and
yeah. This is exactly what we're targeting. We want more integrations with the name service, right? Because that seems critical, right? If we want,
Mhm.
I hold the belief that wallets are actually quite social applications and should be used that way, in the way that we want to onboard users, which make it easier as possible. And as you know, sort of Juno addresses, it's all just a long string of sort of pretty much bytes, and it's
Yeah.
not very user friendly. And as if we can tie textual names to it and sort of build platforms around wallets that are social, we can definitely bring in a lot more people in that aspect. It's a lot more accessible in a way. Like you have these textual names instead of Juno 12345. It's Callum. It's Don
Mhm.
Kryptonium. Yeah,
Yeah. And as it's CW721,
yeah.
anything happens now with the, because Stargaze already doing this, so do you plan to go to the Stargaze? Do you plan to integrate with Stargaze, or that's not the priority as of now?
So as it's a CW721, right? You can actually
Hmm.
trade it, as in you can send it to another person. And it is the possibility you could also integrate it with ICS721 to move it to another chain.
Hmm.
Although I don't know why you would, because yeah, it would probably forfeit the sort of how the staking mechanism we're working on there. But
Yeah.
it is possible that you can transfer HOWLs to another person, like a post. So I could say I made an absolute banger meme and I sent it to you. You'd now be the owner of that post.
All right. And can you already send the name to other person?
Yeah.
Because I
Although
didn't
it's a
know
little
how to do
bit,
it actually.
yeah, there is a button for it on the website now, but it's currently disabled because we
All
didn't
right.
want people to shoot themselves in the foot with an over-the-counter trade, because it's quite possible, like the classic scam of like, send me two Juno, then I'll send you my name. You
Yeah.
send the two Juno, then I'm like, oh,
S-
not going to send you the name.
Yeah. So as you disable that, is it that you plan to launch your own like sort of name exchange platform, or you would rather also integrate to other platform?
We'd rather integrate with another platform. That's
So
not
like
something we're looking
Stargaze,
at
right?
currently.
Would
Yeah,
be.
Stargaze, or there are a few, platforms coming to
Yeah.
Juno quite recently. There's a lot of talks recently about that. So we're leaving that to the experts while we focus on
Yeah.
this.
Any of yours favorite names on how?
I actually don't have any great names. I only have my name. I made sure to snag Callum. We got the
Yeah,
HOWL name. Max has Wag Me. Like,
yeah,
we're gonna
I
make
know
it.
that the Frey donated that to him,
Oh,
so
did he? Oh, I asked him to send it to me, and he said no. So I'm a little bit
I
sad.
think at the start there was announced that they got Wagme to Max, so they minted Wagme and send that to him. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
no,
was.
I'd agree. He is, yeah, he is the most gonna make it person in the ecosystem. So
I met him in
yeah,
in
yeah, he
uh,
was in Prague,
in
wasn't he?
but just like briefly, like it was in the club, very noisy, and when I meet new person, I talk a lot because
Hmm.
it's like he's German, uh
Yeah,
I shouldn't say that, like, he quiet, I think, maybe, and it's like
mm.
a little like nerdy personality, like it's okay, like, because that's the group of nerds. So to keep up, like, I keep talking to the person, I keep talking,
Yeah,
asking the
yeah,
questions, but really, really nice guy. I met Frey, like, there was actually only three people, because I'm speaking of Prague. I knew only three people from this chat. So I knew Frey, Shane from Stargaze, and I met Jake Harnell. So I only approached these three people through
yeah,
all
yeah.
this time. And have you met Frey in person?
No, no. So
Oh,
there was a sort of a UK talk for Cos and Wasm and sort of Juno that Frey organised that I couldn't make because I'm a full-time student and it fell so awfully for me. So yeah, I'm definitely planning to sort of definitely go to more, and I think there are talks in the pipeline for another one in sort of
right.
later summer in the UK, which is going to be awesome, and I'm definitely going to make it to that because Frey wanted me to speak and sort of give a talk on sort of Cosmwasm, as everyone seems to think that I'm some sort of genius and sort of quite well
And
spoken.
only
So yeah,
21. And
yeah,
only
maybe I'm the
like that.
prodigy, maybe I'm like the messiah or something.
Yeah, that's really cool. Glad to know you. I might benefit and you drink a pint afternoon. That's
Look, maybe I'll crack open one later. I'll send you a picture.
so the thing is, right, there is a HOWL, and I saw how it looks. It looks like the Twitter, essentially, because that's
Yeah,
micro blogging
yeah,
platform.
yeah.
So and there is some good things, right? Because we learned recently that Twitter is heavily censored, let's say. So
Hmm.
that would be probably the strength why people could move to HOWL. But how will you attract users? Like, do you, like, seriously? Because I tell you what is the what I have. Like, so I'm not tech person, and I would meet Frey in the Prague, and Frey's like, oh, I will show you. I will show you. It's really cool. Like, and I'm looking, and it's look nice and stuff. But there is never thought if people ever gonna use it.
Yeah,
There is only thought I built something that's cool,
yeah, yeah. You get
right?
that a lot at conferences.
It's like, which is quite common for crypto community. They don't know if
Yeah,
people will use it, they just build.
yeah, yeah,
But the HOWL essentially will be useless if no one will use it. So
yeah. So
are you
how we're
confident? Yeah.
I'm confident. I'm confident. I can say that I've become more confident while working on it because what we noticed and what is an absolute perk of sort of the Juno space that we're in is that you've got to admit the community is active on Twitter, is very engaged. You post a hot take, you're going to have 5 people slamming you down quite quickly, or like a 20 long Twitter thread of no, you're wrong, or I completely agree with this. And as you can see with sort of how you've been inviting interviews and the whole Prop 16, all the later props,
Hmm.
everyone's really engaged, and we see that consistently, right? We get an 80% turnout consistently, like high 80s, and this gave us confidence. We're like, if we airdrop, people are gonna they're like, oh, I got some tokens, let's have a play around. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. Which is, you're more than welcome to. We're not really aiming to capture a good set. And what works with this is we're integrating with DAO. So we spoke with
Can
Jake,
you stop for a
Meow.
second?
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay now. It was delaying for a brief moment. It's fine now.
Okay. So I'll start again. So we're integrating with DAO because, as we know, governance is quite important, and it's quite hard of Commonwealth to draft props to discuss this. And because we can integrate directly with DAO, and there are talks of actual native Juno governance as well, we're going to have it so you can see the prop on HOWL, you can leave comments on it, leave your thoughts, be like that, and you can vote directly from HOWL. And I think this is perfect for our space because DAO is pretty awesome. I'm going to be biased because I work on both, right? So take that with a pinch of salt. But I think DAO is awesome. People can discuss. And another way we're going to incentivize users is our token model, which I can't really go too in depth into, but there is a loop here which rewards both content consumers, so someone who just reads posts and sort of stuff like that, and then the creators themselves. There is a model there which will incentivize them to write good content.
Right, so I expect, like you said, because the community is very engaged, so I'd expect, at the start, HOWL could have 5,000 users, let's say. That's good, right? But how you go from 5,000 to, let's not get too crazy, to 500,000. Okay, is it this that incentivizing the content creators, and do you think this will attract? Or
so I think the content creators we have, like you, Cito, anyone on the Twitter that sort of just writes threads, they'll keep the loyal, already in the space people. The real difficulty will be trying to get other users in, and that for us is probably going to be one of the greatest challenges. And I think one way we can do that is we need to start doing more social outreach, like conferences. I go on a lot about how wallets are actually social applications, and quite a few people that build wallets do. And I would be down to sort of take that out there, get HOWL in front of people, then give them the punch of, oh, you're doing this, but you're also earning from your content, this is great. This gives a direct line between you and your audience. And your audience is like, hey, we like what you're doing. Here you go, have some nice little rewards come in. And I think that's quite a big pull, especially for the minor content creators, not too big. The ones that don't get sponsorship deals, the ones that don't have the social pull to, make decent AdSense money on YouTube or whatever. Because when you tokenize it, right, if you just draw in an audience that maybe you have your followers, your loyal followers, but if you write something which you get engaging with the greater HOWL community, people will support it. And we've seen that a lot. I'd say an example of this horrific is Kevin with the Terra Dev Fund, whatever you think of it. It engaged, and we're going to probably see a lot of stuff like that on HOWL, I feel, because we're going to support. We're starting with microblogging, but there are plans to support longer form content blogs as well using IPFS. So we're going to try and cater for all. So if you want to write longer form, like pieces, sort of like how Polkachu does, you'll be able to do that, and it'll be on chain, and people will be able to engage with it as well.
So, you said you want to engage into conferences to maybe try to promote the platform, right? Do you? What would be because it costs money, I guess, or you think it wouldn't require the funding, or there is some funding you can actually get to do this?
Yeah, so I imagine it would probably need some funding, and it's, of course, any sort of social outreach would, regardless of conferences or just advertising, anything like that is probably going to need funding. And this is something we can probably, I think the HOWL community would probably be quite pro funding, sort of HOWL outreach, because it brings more people in, right? So this is definitely something that, because we've tokenized, we can utilize that as a strength. And as we aim to be one of the sort of blue chips on Juno, as we said earlier, this is something we'd also, because the team are pretty engaged in the Juno core team, right? We've got Frey, who is part of the Juno core team, and we can see this as if HOWL benefits by the nature of it being on Juno, Juno benefits, and if Juno benefits, HOWL probably benefits as well. So the outreach is also not just from a HOWL perspective, but Juno, because if we get more people engaging with Juno, they might go on Juno Swap, be like, oh, what's this HOWL token? Let's check it out.
Yeah, I'm asking about the funding because I saw it like with different platforms. It's Handshake platform, and they are more like domain names. They are not, but they occasionally to fund themselves, because this is like completely like no funding project. They would do the name auctions, and like 25% of the proceeds go to the institutions that build or support, right? So like I was thinking probably I can run the auctions for people, then part of the proceeds from auction from the person go to the funding, but that also can be probably done easily via DAO app.
And we also have, it costs Juno to actually mint a name, right? So we can also go into that, and that will be going to our dev multi-sig as well. So that's how we can lean in to get funding, and I'm sure the community would be quite pro if we engage with them more, and I think hopefully we can see that.
There is Sasha asking when mirroring tweets on HOWL.
We've had conversations about this.
I think I even asked. Sorry,
it'll actually be quite simple to spin up. We just need to, it can be a completely external project that when our contracts go open source, anyone could make, but this is totally something I could throw together in an afternoon. But yeah, we're thinking there'll be I was thinking one thing that would be cool would be mirroring, or also the option of just check out this HOWL I made, so people still have to engage with the platform, right? Mirroring has this other aspect where people might skip HOWL, which is not really in our best interest. So definitely we want to see people promoting HOWLs on Twitter, because that's just how it is at the minute. A lot of people are engaged on Twitter, and I think we're going to see a capture of some, build a core audience that engages, and definitely we want to capture creators. We want to engage with them, get them involved. And I think that will give us a very natural growth. Like the airdrop will give us our initial boost, and then there'll be, some people will be retained, some people will not. Just that's the nature of how airdrops go. And then but what that gives us is a strong starting community to then build up and engage. And we plan quite a few. We have quite a few ideas in the sort of roadmap currently that we're going to be building on to. So, but that'll come later because we're still finalizing it.
I mean, like as you said, it could take away users from the HOWL. Like if you mirror, people could see like, oh, no reason to use HOWL. But on the other hand, it also can bring users, because if I can, I not necessarily tweet only for like Juno community, but if I can like directly tweet through the if I can HOWL through the HOWL, and at the same time send a tweet, and I don't have to go to Twitter to do it, but can do everything through HOWL.
If it is like a HOWL first,
right.
Twitter second,
so that would be cool, because I can do HOWL, and I know it goes on the Twitter as well, but it stays on HOWL. So in case someone wants to support me, I'm incentivized to do it on HOWL, because that could be of my personal benefit as well. So that could work actually beneficial, right? But anyway, like the other thing is DAO. And I'm like very skeptical of DAOs, and that was the reason like maybe I decided to not lock up any raw tokens in the DAO. I decided to go with liquidity, because I see the DAOs as of now, they seem to be like absolute democracy, which I view also as the form of dictatorship, because if there is no law saying what the group, no laws regulating the group, if the group, like if there is absolute democracy, the majority can harm the minority, because the minority is not protected, right? So
tyranny of the majority.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, and in the, I don't know if in our democracy in UK, it cannot happen because you have laws protecting minorities, right? So how we can avoid the tyranny of majority with DAOs?
Yeah.
Sorry, like,
So
because we go into like philosophy.
we got really political and deep here, but
Yeah.
I can definitely take a crack at it. So I'm going to go over this from a DAO focus as building the tooling. What we're working on as DAO, we're giving you the pieces of the puzzle to build out your DAO, almost your organization in a way. And what we have here is with our new V1 architecture, which is how raw DAO is built, you can plug in different forms of voting. So currently, the main one that everyone's familiar with from sort of native governance and DAO now is you've got the yes, no, abstain, no with veto model. You know, how you vote on options like that. And at the minute, we are getting we're working on another model where people can do custom options. So I could make a proposal, be like, what's everyone's favorite food? And then there could be the options of like pizza, hamburger, fries, that sort of thing. So that's one way. We're going to sort of incorporate different types of voting, and these will have different election mechanisms. So for the multiple choice, there's first past the post supported currently, which is just most votes wins. And if you're in the UK, you know what that voting system means because it's the one that we use and had quite a controversial referendum back in the day when I was like 11, actually, which is weird to think.
Was that?
It was
you
2011.
You say about EU?
No, this is for the UK internal voting for our general election. There was a referendum to change from first past the post to a more proportional system. But the other voting system we're incorporating with DAO on the multiple choice options is, I think is it SDV or STV, which is ranked choice voting, where you can have your number one choice, your number two choice, your number three choice, and they slowly get eliminated. And then if my number one choice gets eliminated, your number two choice will now be your vote until that gets eliminated, which basically means your votes will never be truly discounted as long as you rank them. Whereas in first past the post systems, if you don't vote for the winning side, your vote is wasted, technically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as someone who did politics at school, this was super interesting for me, which is maybe why I sort of landed where I am in the Juno space. But
that's really cool.
So we did. So the ranked choice voting will definitely reduce that because it quite often comes that if you're, your first choice vote might get eliminated, but it could well be that your second or third choice could win the vote purely because a lot of people went with the second and third choice, whereas your first choice was your sort of number one opinion, which was the minority. And then we got but also the majority's opinion, not people agreed with fully, like maybe it was the third choice. So this sort of ranked choice voting minimizes that because it encourages people to, engage more, rank your choices, and come to more informed decisions on governance. So that will definitely reduce tyranny of the majority. If I made any sense there, I may have just lost many people.
That's actually like what I'm thinking. Like, I'm glad they found you because this is such a good thought, and I mean, like, don't want to like downgrade your age, but not many 21s think of it. Like when I was like 23 or something, I was picking up glasses in the British bar. So that's really like important. I wonder, can you also design the DAO in the way like that you will have representatives, so not really democracy, but it's scheduled from the start that you have representatives and they give you what you can vote on, but it comes from them, so you can avoid the bad move. And they're like, hey, this is option 1, this is option 2, coming from us. So when the community itself doesn't have 100% of the power, but it has to go through the representatives.
Yeah. So as I was saying, this is something that we have definitely identified, and we're still working on the inner model of this. And sort of, if you have sort of almost like your elected representatives, right? This is exactly how most democratic systems in the world work, because direct democracy in person just doesn't work. But so you sort of elect almost a council, and they have that mandate to make decisions on your behalf, which is how the UK system definitely works. That's literally written. That's literally how it's explained, not written, because we don't have a constitution, but that's how the mandate works. But in DAO, we definitely have plans for this, where in our current model, we do have support for vote delegation. So that's me. This is a limited subset of that. That's me saying, I don't want to vote directly, but let's give my vote to this person. So I could say, hey, I'm going on holiday. You mind voting for me? Or I could say, I'm not clued up enough to have an opinion. I'm going to give my vote to this person because I believe they will make a good decision on my behalf, which is effectively how electoral systems work currently, right? You know, not everyone's clued up about politics. So that's why politicians exist. Love them or hate them. That's why.
I was just checking the oldest constitutions because you spark up my interests. You know, I didn't know the UK didn't have constitution.
No, common law, baby. No constitution at all.
Yeah, Poland was just after US, but the first was San Marino, which is surprise. The second is US, and then is Poland, because I know we do have old constitution, but they keep changing, like they making fixes in every constitution.
A lot of constitutions came about after the US because they sort of did it, and a lot of constitutions now look like the US Constitution purely because that's sort of the one that people go to.
Yeah, like I was like, once I like right when the Prop 16 happened, I was like, maybe we could have the Constitution and let's use as the basis the US Constitution. That's some of my tweet, and people laughed at me.
I quite like the idea, and maybe not constitution would be a bad word for it. I think I would quite like sort of almost like the Bill of Rights for Juno, you know. And Jake has spoken about this. Jake's got a lot of great opinions on this, and I think that is definitely something we should consider, because I find that really interesting, because it gives a basis for a governance system. And it is acting like a government in a way. You have your Bill of Rights, you have the electorate, and this is all what Juno's about, right? In my opinion, that we have this really sort of inspired community to go and vote. Of course, it's a little bit rough around the edges, you know, as with any electoral system. That maybe we do need this Bill of Rights, and I would definitely be super interested in that and any discussion about that, because that would be really cool.
Yeah, I don't know why people laughed at, because I think the US Constitution is pretty legit. Like, I mean, it's the very good basis for the lifestyle, and still like make the US like the way it is, right? And it did establish these people rights. By the way, I spoke to Jake, great guy, probably the easiest guy to talk to in the during the Prague event. He like was very open, and he can talk for hours, especially probably about DAOs. And I did raise some concerns to him. So I wonder, like, what do you think if we would like try to speculate and go 10 years from now? Like, where do you see DAOs? It's maybe silly questions that doesn't, but just
it's a tricky one at the end of the day, because 10 years could be completely different. But currently in the UK, the government went a little bit full degen and is currently working on recognizing DAOs as a legal entity, which is pretty cool, that they will have some sort of legal backing in our judiciary system. And I think that it is getting there, that there are a lot of DAOs for good. And I think that is one of the a lot of people who aren't clued up in the space you can point them to a DAO which does sort of social outreach, non-profit, and that's something they can instantly engage with and be like, oh, that's pretty much that's like a charity, right? That is a charity. It's just that it's a decentralized organization all organizing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to become a lot more common, and yeah, it's hard to predict, but I think we're slowly going to see them be recognized, because a lot of ways, especially in the crypto spaces we're seeing currently, we're drawing a lot of attention with just what's been going on. And in order to, if they, whatever, pro or anti-regulation, it's going to happen. We're going to be drawing attention. And if they want, they will need to write DAOs into this legal system if there is going to be regulation about it. So I think regulation is coming, but I have no idea what that's going to look like or what it will be like. But I know also in some states in America, they are recognized as well. With the weirdness of federal law, it can differ state to state.
Yeah, like I'm surprised how fast it's going. Like I actually didn't treat DAOs like very seriously, but have you heard of Martin Shkreli, the guy? He become famous for
Yeah.
he just left prison, and I used to follow him. I used to follow his live chats, which were always very useful. He actually was having really nice live chats, teaching people investing, and he left the recent blog post just before leaving prison, and there was like quite a lot of plays of DAOs. Not sure exactly what it was, but like he gave it quite some years from now big importance in the political world and the company world,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
the DAOs being part of that. So it does go actually everywhere. Not only crypto people, they are aware of DAOs. So is that I wonder, because I never actually find out, is DAO a copy of some app on Ethereum, or it's actually a complete new innovation?
Complete new innovation.
Because there is some DAO tooling on Ethereum,
Yeah.
right? But it's
So we took some inspiration from MakerDAO and their contracts to build the basis. But what we wanted to make a DAO itself, it built its own tools for itself. What DAO does differently is we abstract those tools. We give you the puzzle pieces. It's down to you to make the puzzle how you want it. And you might slot in a custom piece, you might build your own piece, you might use the pieces we've given you in a way that we never expected. But we want to provide these no-code DAO tooling is one of our main taglines. We want to make it as accessible to everyone.
Good. I know there's one like other app on Ethereum. I'm not sure, but there is like basically all NFTs using that you can have voting, but it's like very basic.
Yeah,
but I can't bring it up. If you don't mind, at the end the prop 16. So and the Soy Studio is commenting, like he's quite present on Twitter. But sometimes when I record something in the video and I say one thing wrong, he would like always come and talk and try to, and it's like I'm the one guy. I don't control every single, and he seems, yeah. But to him, like he's to my guest Callum, it's like so. Oh, okay.
That
I'm sorry.
explains it.
I'm sorry, Sai. Where is it? I thought he's talking to me. And it's like because I can't control every single thing I'm having, but I did. Sorry, I didn't see. Which one is this? I can stop him. So sorry for that break in the chat. If you don't mind, the prop 16, actually prop 21. Let's do this. So the tokens were seized, right? And there meant to be some solution. And I know everything is very peaceful now, but as of now, it seems no one cared. So I know the core teams were quite engaged in making the proposal, and trying to push it to life and solve the situations. But also, as the tokens were seized, the core teams are like, that's community business now. We
Yeah,
don't
it's
want to
now.
touch it.
Yeah,
But the community also, and from community side, they also don't feel like they want to do it, because now the tokens are seized. Why would we do anything that of the market?
yeah. Yeah, I
And
completely agree, and it should definitely we shouldn't take our foot off the pedal in a way. We need to. This is still something that needs to come to a resolution, and yeah, I think that there it was natural there was going to be a slowdown after it was done, but I think that definitely we need to be sort of keeping our days. And I've seen Takumi on Twitter has actually been posting on Commonwealth, engaging people. And I've actually been reading his ideas and saying that, hey, agree or disagree, everyone needs to engage with this and we need to start moving forward. And I noticed Dimmy is the same. He's been replying saying, this is great. Let's just, keep on refining this and maybe we can come to a thing. And I saw your tweet, I think, was about how you tweeted about this and you're like, if it's not going to come to a solution, let's just put them on a vest,
yeah,
like a vesting schedule. And that's something I totally agree with. If that's the safest solution, right? Let's just put him on a vest. I'm sure Takumi would be pro that because he'd still keep his funds or their funds, and he's also put forward a KYC approach, which is definitely
yeah,
something we should be suggesting. If he's engaging, we need to do our diligence as a community to at least engage back.
yeah. Because it's like he said he wants auditor, but I know no one from community will touch
No
it.
one
So
will
it's
trust
like,
him. No one will trust him. That's the
yeah.
thing.
And so the core team say, like, he has to find it. But if he's like, I found someone, people
If
are
he
like,
finds it,
no,
everyone's going
people,
to be like, no, wait, that's just you.
yeah.
Like,
So
it's like
what we
he
do
can't win.
and this is why I'm like little bit concerned now, because if it stays in this status quo, is it this? No, like
Yeah,
for
that's correct term.
next few years, 4 years from now, maybe Juno will grow bigger, but then we will have this tumor
Yeah, it's still
on the
hanging. This
side
problem
with 3
is
million
still hanging
tokens
over us. Yeah.
unsolved. And if we could solve this now, we can. So I would feel if like we maybe within next few months will not find solution, and no one will want to come forward to audit. I'm not saying core one teams, but like if community will not agree, like if Takumi will find someone, and like we have to do something, just put this on the vesting if no one wants to look.
Yeah. It's at the end
Or
of the
I
day,
know
no.
that, yeah,
Yeah, I completely agree. We need to get to this, the root of this sort of solution, and it may look in different ways. And the thing is, it's going to have to be done through governance. So we'll find out
yeah,
if we come to a solution. We could be like, okay, say we get to the end of July, it's like we've had no solution. Let's put them in a vest.
yeah,
It goes on chain like a 70% no or whatever. So it is
yeah,
down to the community at the end, but I do agree that we need to start shooting ideas, and I think Takumi's done a great job with that. All the memes aside of the auditing, it's just going to be not Takumi2@gmail or whatever. I think
yeah,
that memes aside, everyone should actually appreciate that he is engaging, and I think he's
yeah,
he's been quite transparent. He's like, oh look, I haven't actually sold the Juno I took off chain.
yeah.
I haven't sold a penny of that, which I think is like wow, my guy, you are well within your right to sell it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should definitely be exploring it.
And I mean, he did build my trust, like because right after when he transferred this 300,000 Juno, before the proposal finished, the staking reward, I remember the chaos on the Discord. Oh, dumping coming, it's over, right, everyone? And
Yeah,
I just messaged Takumi, hey, do you plan to sell that? And he said, no, I don't. And I was
no,
like, okay.
yeah,
It's like
and
I'm not selling that. Like, so
okay.
he's actually, if you ask him, he will respond to you what he will do. Like he's exactly telling you what he's
Yeah,
gonna do.
exactly.
So
He's now sort of taken the very open approach, which is something I can definitely appreciate. Like regardless of sort of the status of it. And the thing is, I would never be truly comfortable with burning the funds or whatever, purely because there's so many asterisks. I'm like, what if we are just taking away other clients' money? Like, I get that everyone's going to say, oh, he's a custodian. That's like, he should have never been
Yeah.
included in Genesis. But he was included in Genesis. Like,
Yeah.
acknowledge the mistake here. Like we can't, that would be my opinion. But I get that's going to draw a lot of flack on me. But that is genuinely my opinion,
Yeah.
that I would not feel comfortable. And I know a lot of people that wouldn't, like, especially validators. They wouldn't feel comfortable because there's just so many like asterisks. Like, we're probably up to the 5th asterisk on the fact that he's a custodian. And I'm like, that just isn't enough. There's too many caveats there for me to feel comfortable. And even if he was, maybe we need to just acknowledge that there was this mistake in Genesis, but it's clear he believes in the ecosystem, right? Like, he's like he does engage, and the fact he hasn't been done, and in fact he's very transparent about it. And I even retweeted something, and I was like, regard to your opinion, have a read of his Commonwealth thread, agree or disagree, just agree. And then instantly under the bottom, I was like, oh wow, I wonder who's bought you, because your sentiment has changed. And I was like, I haven't even tweeted about this whole drama. Like, you're just calling me bought because I decided to be like, just go check it out.
Yeah. We do share a very similar opinion regarding this, because the same, like, he shouldn't be included in the Genesis.
But he was.
But he was, and that's the same. And people are like, but he shouldn't. He did it. It's against the system. It's not, because he was.
At the end of the day, evidence might have come to light that he held stuff for other people, but he got the Genesis. So let's just acknowledge that. And there's probably smaller people, like in a lot smaller, like by nowhere means of like the game and Debo situation or whatever that was, who had Juno on, who was holding Atom on behalf of other people as well, but they slipped through because they might have only had like 2,000 Atom.
Yeah.
So it's the nature that we don't know, because wallets aren't innately tied to a person. If
there is some people calling us jokes because of this, but I'm quite happy how Juno recently turned around. There's also some words to.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
I haven't had the chance of meeting Wolf Contract, by the way, because I was there and they
was
told
in
me
Prague.
and every time I appeared, he was gone. But I wasn't like I wanted to go and meet him, but they told me he's like 7 foot tall and a huge guy, But people actually wonder, like, that I heard Wolf is non-technical at all person. Like, he's everyone tell me Wolf is not non-technical guy regarding, because if someone wonder if he built something, they said no, Wolf don't really build. But some people spoke to him. I still don't know how he looks, so only saw the picture. But the reason why I like Juno now, like, after all this drama, suddenly there is so many new applications coming to Juno thanks to the Terrafall.
Yeah, and
right?
I knew this was going to come up because I was involved in a few conversations. Like, I spoke with the Loop guys after, like, because I sort of everyone thinks I'm some weird like marketing rep for Juno. I'm not affiliated with the Juno team at all. I just I just I just work on Juno. My work is found on Juno, so of course I have got that affiliation, but I'm not part of the core team. And just, I think it's great. And I think we've already seen a couple. There's probably more en route. Well, actually 3. We've got Kado, we've got Loop, and then we've got Terra Leap, which is now Cosmos Leap.
I saw, but they're gonna change the name. And I just wanted to ask if you, because I know you're not core team, but like, if you have any knowledge of more apps coming over to Juno, if the funding will gonna be used now, or it's waiting still for them and now they just coming over, because I do think with that Juno might become quite big ecosystem. Like,
so a contributor for HOWL had a lot of projects sort of like 90% done on Terra, ready for launch. And then, of course, the whole situation happened, and he just instantly. I messaged him. I was like, "Hey, hope you're holding up right. Hope you're all okay, because probably lost a lot of money." And then he says, "Yeah, I'm all good. Our project lead has taken it really well. He was full time, but we're all picking up like part-time jobs to make ends meet. But we had one conversation, and the one sentence that was said, oh, we just go to Juno,' and that was the layer that was the level of their conversation. And as far as I know, I've pointed them to the grants to like apply for a grant. I'm like, if you guys have got like a working proof of concept, Juno will give you the money to go and flesh it out and deliver it. So yeah, I think their contracts are done. Just a lot of work is on the front end side, because there was completely different Terra interactions. They've got to pull out Terra Station and plug in Kepler.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm definitely aware of a couple others, but I can't really say specifics just because it's all under the hood at the minute.
Yeah.
And there's definitely ones that I'm not aware of, purely because I'm not on those conversations.
Yeah, I'm having quite fun because I had friends very deeply in Terra, and when the old Juno drama started, they were like calling Juno like communist chain and all this stuff, and viewing Terra and UST as this freedom movement. They lost a lot of money, and now I'm just sending them the sending them tweets on our chat of all Terra Terra projects, like yesterday coming to Juno, that essentially they move here to what they thought is so bad. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah.
Callum, like that was really great chat. I'm glad you agreed. If there is anything you want to say or send people somewhere, you can do it.
Yeah.
But
So I guess I'll just plug my own Twitter and then what I work on. So I'm on Twitter as @Callum_and1, and in my bio is what I work on. But main things I'm working on at the minute is DAO, which is DAO_DAO, but with zeros instead of O's. And then the other thing I'm working on is HOWL_social, @HOWL_social, which is going to be sent out to some private testers soon. We're really moving forward to it. We've had some delays because team has been busy, and we all decided to take different patches of holiday. And I'm also a full-time student, so I just don't know how to take a day off. But yeah, exciting times coming, and I'm glad to be involved. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else, which is probably backing up the "you guys sound like simps," but hey, maybe I am. Maybe I am.
well, if it fails, you are only 21.
Yeah, true. At the end of the day.
Right. still whole life ahead. Many new projects. Yeah. Thanks a lot for this. Once the HOWL launches, probably I will talk to you and Frey again. Because this is the project I follow closely. Somehow I missed that there is no name airdrop, but just the HOWL airdrop now. Like probably was not forecast recently enough. But yeah, thanks a lot. It was a great chat, especially about like DAOs. I really do enjoyed your take. So
Yeah,
take care.
don't worry.
Yeah,
You take
enjoy
care.
enjoy rest of your day. Bye bye.
Yeah.